Om Doshi Shri Prabhupada, this is Sudevi.
Hare Krishna, Sudevi beta. Dandavat pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much for joining every single day and very, very beautiful chanting. And you are so inspiring to us, everyone. Thank you, Sudevi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shrimati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining and giving your very, very beautiful association and services. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada. This is Preeti Vilasini Devidasi from India.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Devidasi Mataji. Excuse me, Mataji. Did you say anything?
No.
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Devidasi Mataji. Dandavat pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for your services every single day without any miss and joining every single day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat pranam. So glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharajas and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirtida Sundari Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Dasi Mataji, Dandavat pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining every single day and giving your beautiful services all the time. And Hare Krishna, we are very eagerly to hear. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce?
Shall I start recording and you would like to read the verse, Mataji?
Sure, Mataji. So before we start today's our session, I would like to read the Srila Prabhupada's quote for August 17, 1977. Failure is the pillar of success. Then try. Again you shall try. Vrindavan, August 17, 1977. So today we are so fortunate to have her Grace Sri Kirtida Sundari Mataji on the topic of Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Madhya Khanda, chapter 2, verse number 233 onwards. Thank you very much, Mataji. Dandavat pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Sri Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for giving your very, very valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Sri Bhavuk Nimayavar. So, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Now I hand over call to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat pranam. So glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for warmly welcoming everybody. So should I start or should I wait for 2 minutes or what should I do?
Whatever you like, Mataji.
Okay,
Everybody is ready, yeah.
let's start. In the meantime, we'll read the invocation prayers.
Okay.
So thank you each and every one of you for joining us in this session of Caitanya Bhagavata. So we'll start with the invocation prayers and then we'll move ahead with our verses for today. Om Ajnanaatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्ण भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदाले कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाभदिव्य छवि सुंदराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रसप्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते आजानुलंबित भुजौ कर्णकावधातौ संकीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ जयति जयति देवा कृष्ण चैतन्य चन्द्रो जयति जयति कीर्तिस्तस्य नित्या पवित्रा जयति जयति भृत्यास्तस्य विश्वेश्वमूर्ते जयति जयति नृत्यां तस्य सर्वप्रियाणाम् मुकुं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम् Hare Krishna. Thank you once again for each and every one of you for joining this session, for sharing your valuable time with all of us. So let's begin our Caitanya Bhagavat. But before that, I seek all of your blessings, your prayers, so that I may speak something relevant to this subject matter. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. So we are in the section of Caitanya Bhagavata Madhya Khanda, where our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already started or inaugurated the performance of Nama Sankirtan, one of the external reason for which Mahaprabhu came to this world. So our Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes there are two external reasons, maybe three, and three internal reasons for which Mahaprabhu came. So one of those external reasons One is definitely to establish the Yuga Dharma, that is Nama Sankirtan. And second is, of course, on the call of Advaita Acharya, Srivas Thakur, and our Haridas Thakur. So on the call of, especially on the call of Advaita Acharya, Krishna descent in this material world in Kali Yuga, in Navadvip as Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one of the external cause, that is to perform the Kirtan, to inaugurate the performance of Kirtan, which is Yuga Dharma, Mahaprabhu has already started. So Mahaprabhu would loudly cry out, and day and night he will perform that Nam Sankirtan at his home. So he started from his home, but then we all know that these nocturnal kirtans were performed in Shiva's Angan in the house of Srivas Thakur. Now, as Mahaprabhu has started this Sankirtan, so every night he will call out and he will jump up and down and he will loudly cry, Hari Bol, to an extent that all the Ashtasatvika Vikars would manifest in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All the devotees were very, very happy seeing Mahaprabhu performing these kirtan in his home throughout day and night. But these kirtans disturbed some devotees, some non-devotees, I should say, because they were atheistic, they were materialistic people. And they would say, they will cry out that why he is calling out Hari Bol, because that's disturbing our sleep. This is the mentality of non-devotees. Devotees feel happy if somebody calls out Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, but the non-devotees, they feel offended by just being called out or just being addressed as Hare Krishna or Hari Bol. Same was the situation in Navadvip. People were very unhappy to an extent that they would become angry on the Lord. And they will say that he's the one who is disturbing our sleep. Some of them, they will just gossip around. They will do prajalpa. And they don't understand that this is the path of their spiritual fall down. Somebody will say, oh, what kind of kirtan they are doing? But then another will say that actually the main person behind all this is Srivas Thakur. So they'll play a blame game. This is called the blame game. When you don't know the actual reason behind anything and you just start blaming others. And that's what we all do. When we don't find any solid conclusion of anything, we start this blame game. And the devotees should restrict from this blame game. And all the Navadvip Vasis who were atheistic, they were playing because they were blaming Srivas Thakur. They will say that foolish Brahmana Srivas is actually behind. By begging, these four brothers will call out the name of Krishna as if they are being afflicted by some insanity. Krishna Bali Dake Chade Yena Mahabhai. Mahabhai means some epidemic has come onto these four brothers. So actually, epidemic is actually with the entire village. But they'll say that some kind of disease of insanity has been inflicted in this entire family, these four brothers of Srivas Thakur, that they will simply call out the name of Krishna, 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 and they will beg and they will fill up their bellies. Some will say that can't they achieve just the piety by chanting in their minds? What is the need of chanting so loudly? If they are chanting loudly just to get some piety, that same piety can be achieved by chanting in their minds. So what is the need of chanting so loudly, disturbing others? And they will say, are doomed because of Shiva's entire country will be ruined. So this was their mindset, that they were blaming Shiva's Thakur to an extent that they will say that because of Shiva's, this entire Navadvip will be doomed, because the king will know about all this. And once the king knows, the king will not see who is at fault and who is not. Rather, he will put restrictions on this entire village. So they were thinking that Shiva's Thakur is actually the root cause of all this that is going on. And they started blaming Shiva's Thakur. Now, before we move ahead in today's verses, there is a very important point that we should also try to understand, that this blame game is worst for the devotees. If we want to progress in our spiritual life, we should not blame others. That blaming or finding fault in others without knowing the actual reason will make our spirituality go in vain. Even in Caitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he writes, Mahantera apamana ye desha grama haya, eka janara dosha sabha desha ujada. That if somebody insults, if somebody criticizes or find fault in an advanced devotee for somebody else's fault, but unnecessarily try to blame others and find faults in others. And what happened? Eka janara dosha, just to find fault in one person, sabha desha ujada hai. The entire place or the entire town is afflicted. So the Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying. So now we see that here Navadvipvasi, some atheistic people, they were blaming Shiva's Thakur. And they were thinking that because of Shiva's Thakur, their life will be at stake. But they are not understanding that just because criticizing Shiva's Thakur, for no reason, the entire town will be afflicted. Ihate dosha dekhe tara se dosha, bhaktera varna matra krishnera santosha. What is false with a devotee actually at fault? Because whatever the devotee is doing is actually doing for Krishna's santosh, Krishna's happiness, Krishna's pleasure. Samsiddhi haritoshanam. Whatever we do it for the pleasure of Krishna. So, but the devotees, but anyone who finds fault with the devotees is actually himself at fault. So we also see here that actually Navadvip Vasis were at fault. They were not trying to understand that they are being so materialistic, that they have practically offended Lord, and they have practically defied the supremacy of God. And they thinking themselves to be the supreme controller, to be the proprietor. And these were not people from other caste, but they were actually Hindus. They were Hindus, but they were not able to understand that what who is doing is actually doing not only for their benefit, but for the benefit of the entire village, entire town. But they were trying to find fault, and they are implicating that entire fault on Shiva's Thakur. So this is how, when we gossip among each other, we see that they are gossiping. Someone was saying Shiva's his fault. Someone is saying, see, why they are chanting so loudly. Can't they just chant in mind if they really want some piety? And they are talking each other about Shiva's Thakur, his brothers. Now this is what is Prajalpa. And this Prajalpa evolution, it ends up in blasphemy, but it starts with Prajalpa. It's a big evolution of this word Prajalpa. Prajalpa is just a useless talk. They are just talking uselessly about some other person, right? So here we see that they are talking about Srivas Thakur. But if we try to introspect life, let's have some learning from this, that this is what happens when we do some useless talk. We talk about others, not for their benefit, not to uplift them, but to degrade them or to find fault in others. So it starts with the useless talk. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a very beautiful verse which says, Para Swabhava Karmani Yah Sa Ashu Brashate Swarthad Asati Abhinaveshataha. Means anyone who criticizes others, forget about criticism, even if somebody praise others, that also, that behavior will lead one's self-interest to be doomed. And our self-interest is for Paramarth, not for the Lokik Marth, not for something material gains, but for spiritual gain. That is our self-benefit. So for our self-benefit, if we criticize or we unnecessarily praise others. Now, why this word praise has also been added? Because sometimes we praise in a sarcasm, in a sarcastic way. There is no genuine praise. So this praise refers to flattering others, talking unnecessary, talking good about others without meaning it, without meaning. So that is also wrong. And this starts with useless talk. When we simply want to talk uselessly, we want to praise others because we may want some benefit from them. We don't mean it when we praise others, but we are praising because we want some external, some material benefit from them. That is also wrong. And criticizing others and talking on the back of someone to someone else, that is also wrong. So it starts with useless talk, but this then evolution happens. Then what happened? Then there is an argumentation. Then they say, see, I told you that this is supposed to be done, but you didn't listen to me, and see the result now. So they'll argue, but the basis is to criticize others. So we will see the verse also, because we will see how this useless talks among all those Navadvip Vasis also results in finally blaspheming Srivas Thakur. So let me share my screen. Yeah. So 233, right? Give me a minute, please. I'm so sorry. So the verse 233 will start. Aji mui diyo yane sunil sabha katha rajara agnaya dui nasho ashiyata. I have heard this morning. So now the devotees, they are talking. This useless talk is going on. Some are saying, oh brothers, we are doomed because of Shivas. This entire country will be ruined. But today verse, they are saying that I have heard this morning that on the king's order, 2 boats are on their way here. Means, Aji mui dioane. Dioane, because it says the word dioane, see Adi Khanda, chapter 15, verse 25. So actually this word dioane it is derived from the word, Farsi word divana. Divan hote the, like for the kings, there will be some court, right? So divan, because there was a Muslim reign at that time, the Muslims were ruling, so their court will be known as divan. Like for Akbar also, we know Diwan-e Khas and Diwan-e Aam. So he has 2 courtyards in which he will listen to the people the citizens of that place. So Diyane means on the order of king. So they are saying that I have heard this morning that on the king's order, Diyane means on the rule of the king, on the order of the king, The two boats are already on the way here to arrest. Text 234. Shunile kanadiyare kirtana vishesha dhariyani vare haila rajara adesha. And the king has heard about the loud kirtan in Nadia, because the king also know that a loud kirtan is going on. Therefore, he has ordered that they be arrested and brought before him. And now somebody is saying, Yete dike pailabe Shivas Pandita Amasa Balaye Sarva Nasha Upasthita. Now Srinivas Thakur will slip off in some direction or other, leaving us to face certain ruin. So this is the useless talk going on. That now they are saying that Srinivas Thakur, who is the root cause of all this, who is responsible for our problems, because now the king has come and the king will arrest everybody. So because of Srinivas Thakur, we are in problem. So now they are saying, now Srinivas Thakur will just slip off in some direction. He'll just hide somewhere, while we all have to face the king's generals. So now this is what argumentation starts. So first it's the useless talks, blaming Srinivas Thakur. But from now 236, see, they are saying, Thakane balino mui haya mukhahara Shiva sera ghera peli gangara bhitara. Now somebody is saying, I bluntly told you before that you should throw Shiva's house into the Ganges. Peli, ghara peli. Peli means phek dena. In Hindi, the word peli means phek dena, just to throw away. So it means that they were thinking that the houses of those who are chanting loudly, these congregational chanting which is going on, the names of Krishna, their houses should be broken into pieces, picked up, and they should be thrown away in river Ganga. This was the mentality of atheistic Hindus who were very against, who were very envious of Hari Guru and Vaishnava, who were so sick with jealousy that they used to have this mentality, this envious mentality against all these innocent Vaishnavas, that they want to go an extent to break their house, pick their house, and throw them in river Ganga. So this is how they are saying that I bluntly told you that before that we should throw away the house of Srinivas Thakur in the Ganga. Thakane na kaila iha parihasa janane sarva nasa haya eba dekha vidyamani. But then you all thought that it was just a joke, parihasa, that I was playing some joke of throwing and breaking his house. You didn't pay any attention to what I was saying. Now you see how we all will be destroyed. Sarva nasha haya ebe dekha vidyamane. Now you will see yourself that we all will be destroyed because you didn't listen to me at that time when I was telling that Srinivas Thakur's house should be broken down into pieces and should be thrown in river Ganga. Now you see the evolution. So first was just a useless talk. But now that useless talk has gone to an extent of argumentation. Now they are arguing with each other. They are arguing that you didn't listen to me. I gave you the suggestion, but you didn't listen to me. Now bear. Now we all have to bear. So this is the argumentation that goes on. So first is just the useless talk. But then there is a subtle difference. It looks like everything is useless talk only. They are unnecessary blaspheming Srinivas Thakur or finding faults in Srinivas Thakur. But if we see, there is a subtle difference. It's not just a useless talk, but now they are arguing that you didn't listen to me, so now bear the consequences. Now someone else said, Keha vele amara sabara kon daya Shiva se bandiya dibe yeva ashichaya. Then someone else said, what does this have to do with us? Why you are saying that we all will be destroyed? See, in the previous verse, they are saying that we all will be destroyed. Now they are saying, why do you think that we will be destroyed? What we will do is that we will bind Shivas, we will turn him over and turn him over whosoever demands. So whoever comes, even the generals, even the soldiers of king who has come on king's order, when they will come and they will ask, we will all say that we are innocent and it's Shiva's fault, and we'll simply hand over Shiva's Thakur to them. So why we will be destroyed? Even only Shiva's Thakur and his brothers will be punished. Nothing will happen. So now this argumentation has gone to a level of debate. They're debating now. First they were arguing. Now they are debating. In debating, it's this, that somebody said something, another puts question on it. Why you are saying this? No, this doesn't happen. This will not happen. How can it be possible? Why we will be charged on? Nothing will happen to us. We'll simply hand over Shiva's Thakur to them. So now what's happening is, first was simply the useless talk, and then argumentation happened, and then debate is going on, and then fault finding, then comes fault finding, and finally blasphemy. So when we say that, when the first offense we say, which is the Vaishnava Ninda, which is to blaspheme the devotees of the Lord who have dedicated their life in propagating the holy name, when we say that as a first offense of Namaprad, actually there are so many previous steps that have already happened. Right? Blasphemy comes at the last, when we literally blaspheme. But before blaspheme was the fault finding, because we saw dosh in others. We saw fault in others. And then blasphemy is when we see dosh and we do kirtan of that dosh. That is what is blasphemy. Fault finding is just dosh darshan, when we see that fault. But blasphemy is when we do kirtan of that dosh, when we sing, when we tell everybody, when we do dosh kirtan. That is what is blasphemy. And that leads to Namaprad. But see, before that blasphemy is dosh darshan. But before that, there is actually the debate, argumentation, or you can say the useless talk. It starts with the useless talks and it ends with dosh kirtan. So there are various steps. So we all have to stop ourselves from the very first step of useless talking. If we just do Nam, if we just keep on chanting the holy name of the Lord, then there will be no useless talk. And that's why the mother of all offenses of Namaprad is regarded as inattentiveness. Because at that time when we are inattentive, though the name is going on, but we are not concentrating, the mind is speculating or contemplating on the useless talks. And those useless talks becomes argument, becomes a debate, becomes a fault finding, and finally comes to the level of blasphemy. So this is what we have to avoid, not seeing the fault in others. Now, yes, Chaitanya Charitamrita Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Vaishnavara gunagrahi na dekhay dosh, kaya mana vakya kare Vaishnava santosh. That actually the good qualities of Vaishnava should be highlighted and should be seen, and never a fault should be found in the Vaishnavas. And one should always engage kaya mana vakya, through his body, through his mind, through his words, should always what? Kara Vaishnava Santosh, should always try to satisfy the Vaishnavas. But still, we are humans. We are in the body of human beings. And our level of purification has not completely happened. We are not on the level of pure devotees. We may, because we are still on the level of sadhakas, where we have to really warn ourselves, time and again introspect ourselves, where I'm going wrong. But still, sometimes that dosh darshan happens. It's quite natural. But we have to make sure that we should not make those dosh darshan as dosh kirtan. We should not see the faults. If it false comes in our notice, then we should speculate on it and we should not try to defame others, or we should not try to blaspheme others. In this regard, very long time back, I heard one of the class, and in that, the acronym of the word fault was mentioned. Because see, we are human beings. So seeing fault in others is quite natural, quite natural. But after seeing the fault, what we have to do? What we have to do? Should we go ahead and talk to others about it, or should we just restrain it to ourselves? That is very, very important. Seeing fault in others is very easy. Like those Navadvips, they were seeing fault in Srivas Thakur. But was Srivas Thakur really at fault? That has to be contemplated upon. That has to be introspected upon, which they don't do, which we have to learn from such examples, that how we should live our life of calling ourselves being the devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. So what F stands for in fault, F is to focus. That we should try to focus of whom are we hearing or seeing the fault of. See, there are 5 jnana indriyas in our body, right? You all know that. So through these jnana indriyas only we'll get knowledge. Either we'll hear something, some hearsay, either we'll see something, either we'll smell something, either we touch something, or either we'll taste something. These are the 5 jnanendriyas through which we get knowledge. And through knowledge, this faults comes in. Finding faults in others, this comes in. So we have to keep our focus on that what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing is actually true. Sometimes what we see is also not true, because we are being implicated with the 4 defects, and one of the defects is imperfect senses, right? Sometimes we hear, sometimes we see, may not be true. So F stands for focus. We should try to focus on that what am I hearing is actually true. And if it is, or if it is not, do I have the authority to speak about it? So A stands for authority. Do I have the authority to speak about it? If yes, then please go ahead. If not, then we have to restrain ourselves. If we are really eager to know, we should directly go to the source instead of talking to somebody else, because that's going to lead us to blasphemy. So A stands for authority. Do we have the authority? Am I senior? I am in the position of a guru. I am a position of a shiksha guru. I am a position of a counselor or a mentor, that I heard about something about somebody or seen something about somebody or something happened. Do I have the authority? If yes, please go ahead. If no, restrain ourselves. Then comes U. U starts for upliftment. Am I talking to somebody to uplift someone from their nature, or just to make them doom again? That has to be also considered. If it is for the upliftment or betterment of others, then yes. But if that thing is going to create more problems, then try to restrain. And finally, L, F-A-U-L. L stands for, sometimes we can't judge whether do I have the authority, or is it for the upliftment, or it is for the betterment of that person. Sometimes we are not able to judge. Then comes the role of L, where we have to leave it to Krishna. Let Krishna decide. I don't know what I'm doing is right, or what I'll be doing is right or wrong. I don't know, but let's leave it to Krishna. And final, the word T, which stands for time, because time plays a major role for someone's upliftment and for someone's getting doomed in their spiritual life. So these are the things that we have to really focus on. And this is what was lacking in all the Navadvipvasis when they were trying to blaspheme or talking ill about Srivas Thakur. So finally, coming to the verse of Caitanya Bhagavata, they said that, what does this have to do with us? What we will do is simply we'll bind Srivas, we'll turn him over to whomsoever demands him. We'll not let him hide anywhere. Rather, when the king's soldiers come, we'll simply hand over Srivas Thakur to them. Ei matha katha haile nagara nagare Raja Nauka Asha Vaishnava Dhari Bare. And in this way, town to town, the news was spread. What news was spread? That Raja Nauka Aishe Vaishnava Dhari Bare. That the king has sent 2 boats. He has sent his boats, he has sent his men to come to arrest the Vaishnavas. This news was spread. 240. Vaishnava Samaje Sabe Ei Katha Shunila Govinda Smanari Sabe Bhayane Varila. And when the Vaishnavas heard this news, Vaishnava Samaj mein jab ye news pahunchi, when they came to know that the king has sent his soldiers to arrest them because of the loud kirtan that they were doing, Govinda Smarana, they started remembering Govinda. Sabha Bhaya Nirvila, so that their all fears can be subdued. What's that word? What's that song? I'm just forgetting the first line. Bhajahu re man Shinanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Ravindare. Because I want to get rid of my fearful nature. I want to become fearless, abhay. So what I do? I remember Govinda. So that's what they all were doing. They were remembering Govinda. Why? Because they want to get rid of all the fear. They were also fearful that the king has sent and now their arrest warrants are there. So this is what, that when we are also in problem, we should always try to remember Govinda. Just like in Govinda Damoda Madhaveti, that stotra, Bilva Mangal Thakur writes, Agre Kurunam Natha Pandavanam Dushashanirta Vastrakesha Krishna Tadakshrod Annanati Annanatha Govinda Damodar Madhaveti Jihve Sadaiva Bhaja Sundanani Namani Krishnasya Manohanani Samastha Bhaktarthi Vinashanani Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. So when we remember Govinda, when we remember Damodar, when we say the word Madhava, actually it destroys all the obstacles of the devotees. The only thing is that we have to try to have faith in these words. Have faith. And what is that faith? Rakshishete Krishna, Rakshishete Vishvasu, that Krishna will protect me in all circumstances. So following this, they were also chanting the name of Govinda. Smarana. Smarana karna means to remember. They started remembering Govinda. Ye karibe Krishna Chandra se satyahaya se Prabhu thaki te kona dhamare bhaya. And they were thinking, whatever Krishna Chandra ordains, that must take place. Why should one fear wicked person when the Lord is there? So this is actually the sense of surrenderance that comes. Krishna Charana Ashraya, to take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. Have faith that he is my protector. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam rakshishate vishvaso. What? That avashya rakshive Krishna, that my Krishna will always protect me. These are the 6 limbs of Sharanagati. And then comes the Dainya and Atmanivedana, means the fully surrenderance. In that song also, Narottam Das Thakur writes, Dainya Atmanivedana Goprite Varana, that Krishna is my maintainer. Dainya Atma Nivedana Goprite Varana, that Krishna is my maintainer. Avashe Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana, having that faith, that conviction that Krishna will protect me. This is how all the Vaishnavas, when the news came to their ears, they were also thinking that yes, Krishna is going to protect. So let's take shelter of that Govinda. Let's take shelter of that Supreme Lord, because he is going to protect us. Lord Krishna Chandra is personally present as one's protector, then there is no reason to fear any threatening material element. Now, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur quotes these words from Srimad Bhagavatam 10-33. The demigods headed by Brahma pray to Lord Krishna. So this is about the Garbha Stuti that the demigods are doing. And they are saying, Tatha na te madhava tavaka kvachit prashyanti marga tvai baddha saudrada tvaya bhi gupta vicharanti nirbhaya vinaya kanikapa murdhasu prabho. O Madhava, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord of the Goddess of Fortune, if devotees completely in love with you sometimes fall down from the path of devotion, they actually do not fall like non-devotees, for you shall still protect them. Thus, they fearlessly traverse the heads of their opponents and continue to progress in devotional service. So this is how the Supreme Lord protects his devotees, because the Supreme Lord is very kind. He is Suhrid Sarva Bhutanam. To all the living entities, he is like a well-wisher. So even for the living entities, if Krishna is a well-wisher, then what to talk about the devotees who have complete faith and complete love with Supreme Lord. So definitely, if sometimes we see that there is some fall down, actually there is not a fall down. That happens by the will of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada, in this verse, actually he writes that devotees, they generally do not fall down. But if some circumstantial fall down, we see that is because of their strong attachment. Because then Krishna actually protects them in all circumstances. Sometimes because of some past, some prarabdha, something happens that the devotees, they tend to fall down because of their some affection, that strong attachment they may be carrying from their past life. But Krishna will still give protection in all the circumstances. Right? So Prabhupada, he gives the example that in the initial days of Krishna consciousness also, when these devotees were blasphemed as the deprogrammers, at that time also, Krishna protected them. There was a big legal case was filed against the devotees, but Krishna protected. Why? Because that was not a fall down. That was not the fall down of the movement, because the case has gone to any legal issue, but actually Krishna protected, because Krishna loves his devotees. And there Prabhupada also gives the example. He gives the example of devotees like Chitraketu Maharaj, whom apparently looks that he has fallen down, because he was on his way to Vaikuntha, right? But how he came back as Vritrasura, as the demon. So for us, it looks like there is a big fall down. Similarly, Maharaj Indradyumna, who left everything, practically left everything, but then got a body of a Gajendra, a dull-headed elephant. Maharaj Bharat, another example from Srimad Bhagavatam, which looks like that he was already on the stage of Bhava, and one more and he'll attain Prema, but he got attracted to deer. And then what happened? He got his deer body. So all these examples, externally, if we see, then there is a fall down. But actually, is there a fall down? No, it was not a fall down. In case of Maharaj Indradyumna, he was on the stage of Ashtanga Yoga. He left everything and he was basically he was practicing some Ashtanga Yoga, means some dhyan, some dharana to achieve some samadhi. So he was on that level. Now, if he continues, that will not lead him to the highest goal. Again, maybe he has to, because of this, he'll get some piety, or something that he has to again come back into another life. Again, he will start from there, maybe achieve to a certain level, but again come back. But with one curse, what happens? He becomes an elephant. So looks like there is a fall down, but it wasn't. Because in an elephant body, when he was chanting those prayers, those Gajendra Moksha prayers, then Krishna himself personally came and delivered him and took him back to his loka, to his abode. So just in one lifetime, his life was successful. He attained the stage of perfection. If he would have gone to his own pace, maybe it would have taken few lifetimes. So it looks like it was a fall down, but it was not. Rather, it was a blessing. It was a blessing in disguise that he got cursed and he immediately got the self-perfection. He got the real attainment of his goal. Similarly, Maharaj Chitraketu, if we see, he was on the Vidyadhara planet, right? And he was on his own airplane. So there may be some ascending process, but the moment he got cursed and became Vritrasura, and the way he was praying in the body of Vritrasura, those famous prayers of Vritrasura, immediately got delivered. Immediately got delivered. Right? So this is how we see that sometimes it looks like that we are in some difficult position, we are in some problem, and we say that why only me, why Krishna? Because there is something hidden. Something hidden we should try to understand, that Krishna is protecting us. Krishna is making us learn something. That which we cannot learn for lifetimes, Krishna is making to learn within a flick of a second by giving us some problems or some reversals. So this is how we have to try to understand that when some apparent fall down we see is actually not a fall down, Krishna is going to protect. That's why Krishna says, Kauntaya pratijani name bhakta pranishyati. Krishna says to Arjun, you go and declare that whosoever becomes my devotee, there may be a circumstantial fall down, but that fall down can never be compared to the fall down of non-devotees, because there Krishna personally comes and take care of that devotee. So similarly here in the verse, we see that they are saying, O Madhava, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord of the Goddess of Fortune, if devotee completely in love with you, sometimes fall from the path of devotion because of some previous strong attachment, they do not fall like non-devotees, because you still protect them. Thus, they fearlessly traverse the heads of their opponents and continue to progress in their devotional service. And this is what the devotees in Navadvip are exhibiting. Because now when they heard this news that the king has come, now they said, okay, this is the time we have to take shelter of Govinda. We should remember Govinda and we should be fearless. We should be fearless because now we know that whatever is going to happen will be sanctioned by Krishna. Because our immediate cause of all our distress is actually Krishna. We may blame others, we may see the hands of others, but actually the real hand behind is Krishna. And that devotees understood. And they said that whatever Krishna Chandra ordains must take place. So why should one fear from those wicked persons when the Lord is personally present with us and the Lord is there for us? So that kind of mood even we all should have, that why I have to fear when my Lord is there with me. So we'll stop here. So I stopped at verse number 241. And then what happened, what will be the result of all this, that we will see from Monday onwards, from verse number 242. So thank you all so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, all the assembled devotees ki jai. Yes, Anita Mataji, please go ahead.
जी Thank you so much for such a wonderful class. I was thinking this will be continuing, but suddenly when you told you're stopping, I was little bewildered. Like I was about to hear after that what happened. You will say you will be narrating. So it was very nice, Mataji. So I just got a point. It says that we should not talk anything ill about others, knowingly or unknowingly also. So, and also you just explained how the Lord plans everything, taking the life of Chitraketu and what is it? Indradimna Maharaj. So thank you so much, Mataji, for such a in-depth class, and also the praise in the praise and the blasphemy both will incur sin. You told, right? So praise incurs sin. Can you elaborate on that, Mataji?
Yeah, praise incurs not sin as such, but it will create problems till the time that praise is not genuine. If the praise is really a genuine praise, then yes, go ahead. We should always try to see good in others and should try to sing good about others. That is allowed, but that has to be genuine. If we are simply flattering somebody for some material gains or some getting some something from others, then that praise is not a praise. Praise should be very, very genuine, and it should not be exaggerated like anything. That praise is really a false praise. Right? Praise should be very, very genuine and from the heart. That is what it is mentioned.
Okay, Mataji. So it is for the material assets, material gain, which when we are flattering someone, that is a fault, right?
It's a fault, yes. For material gain or some earning some good confidence about others, that is not required. Suppose
Okay.
if I want you to bring into my confidence, then I started, if I start praising, oh, Anita Mataji is so good, because I want her to be my friend always. Though I don't mean it, but I simply praise you because I want to win over your confidence. That is wrong. The praise should be very, very genuine from the heart. It should be heartfelt. Then it's okay.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Understood. Yeah.
And sorry, Mataji, I have to stop because then there's a lot of detailed things that how Srivas Thakur takes complete shelter, because he was at the point, he was at the spotlight. Where
But it was very nice, Mataji. Actually, I was expecting that you will tell more.
No,
So, but
maybe
it was a sudden.
next speaker
It
can,
was a sudden break for me. So,
maybe next speaker can cover it in a more elaborate way, in a more right way. So therefore I stop.
Then we'll have you as the speaker on Monday.
No, please.
Priti Mataji, next class, please take Mataji itself to explain
Yeah, that's
on
what
this.
I thought.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Very, very nice class. Lot of beautiful reflections you had. Thank you so much.
Kirtida Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a beautiful class. When you're talking about finding faults, like initially we might not find the fault, or like some discussions we can easily relate, because I am point outing myself. Like sometimes we generally talk like that, not to point out. Initially I were just like that, like you said, Prajalpa, it starts from Prajalpa and then slowly we try to point out others' mistake. Yeah, that really I could relate in so many situations, so many talks. I talk a lot, so I get into this so much. My problem is talkativeness, so that is why I get into so much.
Don't take all these things to be otherwise, because we all talk. It's not that we all have become on the level of Paramhamsas, where the mixture of milk and water is there and we are the one who will just grab the milk and leave the water. We are not on the level of Paramhamsas. Yes, we all talk, but we have to talk in the way where we see that our intention is not wrong for somebody else. Right? If our intentions are also going wrong, then we have to check on others, check on our own selves. But if our intention is not wrong, and we are simply talking about, or maybe to help others, or to uplift others, or to know the facts, then it's okay, because the point is, first of all, the ideal situation is that we should not do like this. But if sometimes we are doing, at least we can check on our intentions, that our intentions are not wrong.
Yeah, Mataji,
That
thank you.
helps.
Really helps us when we are talking out. Our intention is main thing. We have to be cautious about the intention. That
Exactly.
we sometimes being on a main organizer, sometimes we need to be, trying to tell others this is what
Yeah.
this is. So my intention is right, see that, so that the class goes well or something, so then it's correct. But then if I'm trying to find a fault on others and trying to be, oh look, I know well, then you do like this, then it's a wrong way of conveying it. So I got it, Mataji. Thank you so much. Such a beautiful class. And I didn't even expect the class, and because I just went into the kitchen to do something. By the time I came, classes ended. Oh, I didn't expect that class will go. I was thinking the verses are going to be flowing like that. Thank you, Mataji. Such a sweet class as usual. Very instructive. Thank you, Mataji. Grateful to you. Hare Krishna.
I ended the class where now Srivas Thakur has taken complete shelter of Govinda, is remembering Govinda. So let's pause here. Let Srivas Thakur meditate on Govinda. Let he become fearless and think that everything is ordained by Krishna Chandra and take full shelter of Krishna. So for 2 days, let us make Srivas Thakur remembering Krishna till the time the king comes, and let's see then what happens next. Therefore, I just stopped at this.
Looks like you're enduring us also to surrender along with Srivas Thakur to
Yeah, let's all surrender.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
And in between, your songs are also so nice, Mataji, that you are singing to connect to the context.
I messed up with the tune of Govinda Damodar Stotra.
Mataji, that was very sweet for me. I don't know what is the actual tune. What you might know maybe, but that was sweet for me. Both the songs are very, very sweet, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Parima Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you again for such a wonderful class, Mataji, Nectarian. Mataji, I just have this kind of a question. It's a very practical question. Mataji, there are some devotees who happen to be twice initiated. And sometimes they are not themselves doing that service, or sometimes they are not capable of doing that service. But when others do that service, they are the first people to comment. They pass some comment. How do you do? And immediately then our mind says that, look at you. So even if we don't want to find fault, it comes into our consciousness. We may not say it, we may not propagate it, we may not tell others, but then it does come to your mind that, look at you, when you do, it's so terrible, honestly. And how is it that you comment on others who are doing it to the best of their capacity? How do you deal with such devotees?
Thank you so much, Parima Mataji. I think so. This is for me only.
No, Mataji, it's for me. I need to know how to correct, because that thing comes to my mind almost instantly. I don't say it. I don't even make that person feel. But then you think you're like, and even others, not just me, even for others, the person is the same. Then how do you deal with such people?
Yes, Mataji. So, first of all, what we have to think is that those who are even second initiated, don't take them to the level of some great devotees. Okay. Second initiation doesn't gives us the eligibility of being categorized in one of those pure devotees category. First of all, we have to understand this. Even if somebody is second initiated, it all depends upon their acharan, upon their vyavhar, upon their ways of dealing things. That is more important. Now, you said that something comes in your mind, you don't say it. Actually, in Kali Yuga, this is a benefit. Like if we commit some offense in our mind and if we don't say it, there is no implications on it. Okay. So, but we have to still restrict ourselves, because अगर वो मनन चलता रहा तो वो आचरण में आएगा.
Yes, yes.
Because first we hear, first comes the vachan, then comes the manan, and then comes the acharan. So पहले हम किसी के बारे में सुनते हैं, श्रवण करते हैं, फिर हम उस पे मनन करते हैं, और फिर हम उस पे आचरण करते हैं.
Yes.
This is positive also, negative also. When we hear the class, we do shravan, we hear vachan, and then we should do some manan, and then we should try to imbibe it in our acharan, in our vyavhar, in our day-to-day practice. But same applies to negative things also. When we hear some negative, it comes through ears, and then we start doing manan, and then it will be shown in our action also. So we have to stop that shravan. Either shravan, I means not just by hearsay, what we hearsay, but also what we see, also what we contemplate. Because I told you there are 5 jnanendriyas. It's not only through ears you will find fault. You may find fault through seeing, you may find fault through contemplation, you may see fault in others through various other ways, right? So when we see those faults, we have to first try to make ourselves forcefully contemplate on 10 good things about that person. When we see 10 good things about that person, we will do manan on those 10 good things. So our acharan may not be of like you are the best, or again we'll hug or embrace, but still our acharan will be, okay, you are also affected with some disease. I am also affected with some disease. That's why we are in this hospital named ISKCON.
Yeah.
Our acharan will be that way. You are also not pure. I am also not pure. Consider yourself also. I am also not pure. You are also not pure. That's why we both are in this hospital. Now we both are in hospital. Let's take the treatment. That should be the motive. Try to maintain distance with those who affect your spirituality. Try to maintain that distance. Now,
How do you do that?
Maintaining that distance doesn't mean that when you see that person again somewhere, you don't even say Hare Krishna. You say Hare Krishna. There is no harm in saying Hare Krishna. But you don't discuss more with them. You try to maintain proper distance with them. You don't share your confidential things with them. But you maintain the normal etiquette, the normal demeanor of conveying Hare Krishna. Because you know that you are also sick, he is also sick, or that person is also sick. Consider the sickness of each other. Don't mingle so that it becomes contagious. Don't mingle so that it becomes contagious. But honor that you are also at disease, that person is also at disease, and that's why we are in this hospital. Now, considering that somebody is second initiated, first initiated, Mataji, this all depends upon the sukriti someone has. Okay, second initiation doesn't give the eligibility of becoming a pure devotee. No. When my Guru Maharaj told me to take second initiation, actually in this way I was fortunate enough, because he himself approached and he said, I want you to take second. And when he gave me second initiation, when he gave me Diksha mantra, you know what he said? You are trying to become a Brahmana. After taking second initiation, don't think that you have become a Brahmana. You are still on the verge of becoming Brahmana, because now you will be chanting Gayatri. So don't ever think that you have become pure. You are on the path of becoming pure, because now you will be indulging yourself directly in deity service. So the more you indulge, the more is the backfire also, because the more offenses will also be committed. Right? So you have to be very, very careful. Rather, those who are second initiated have to be more careful, because now if they commit one single offense, it will be a big setback, Right? But for us, we have to understand that everybody is on the path. Somebody is at 15 feet away, somebody is 15 feet back, but we are all on the path of Krishna consciousness. All are affected with some or the other disease. So we should try to honor everybody, but same time have to make ourselves very, very distinguished. That distinction should be made, whom I have to associate with and whom I don't have to associate with. That really matters, because that's going to help us in our spiritual life. So this is how you discriminate. That is why we are not on the level of Uttama or Madhyama. We are still on the level of Kanishta, where we have the right to discriminate. Asat Sanga Tyaga Ei Vaishnavachar. This is the acharan of a Vaishnava, that we have to stop associating with those people with whose association we are seeing that there is some kind of fall down is happening, where we are not getting taste in chanting, where we are not getting taste in reading Srila Prabhupada books. So let's stop that association. But at the same time, whenever we see such people, we should say Hare Krishna, because after all, they are chanting. Right? Like Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction says, that to Kanashtadikari, how you pay obeisances into your mind. To Madhyama, you physically pay obeisances. And to Uttama, you pay obeisances with the mindset that I have to follow him. I have to follow his instructions. So these are the ways that Rupa Goswami himself is giving in Nectar of Instructions. Right?
Mataji, what if their comments kind of bother you? Because they've cast comments on many more people also.
Yes, Mataji, their comments will bother us. Their comments will trouble us. That happens in every congregation. But we have to think that comment is also coming from Krishna.
Yeah, but Mataji, just is the second thought. It's just not like maybe not for me, but if a person is kind of a neophyte, and if they say a devotee of this level behaving in this way, that behavior might shoo them away from Krishna consciousness. Don't you think that can happen?
Of course, that's the worst thing one can do. That's the worst thing. Therefore, I'm saying we should be very, very vigilant on our actions, on our thoughts. We should be very, very vigilant, because one action can literally destroy. That's what I was reading, one of the verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Where Krishna says that if you blaspheme one person, the entire community will be destroyed. Right? Mahantere apamana ye deshe grama hai. Ek janra doshe saba deshe ujare. The whole desh will be afflicted if we insult anybody, because that's going to send a wrong message to those who are coming for the first time. So we should be very, very vigilant on our own part, but we cannot check on others.
Yes.
So if we have to check on others, then we have to have the authority of doing so. If we don't have the authority, go to the authority. And if that also doesn't work, leave it to Krishna. Time will tell. Okay?
Yeah.
From our own part, very, very vigilant कि हमारे आचरण में ऐसा कुछ ना हो कि सामने वाले को लगे ये बात ही गलत है. This is the wrong. That should not be, because then we are really going to be implicated.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you for this explanation. It really helps. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranams. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So thank you so much. So can we stop here?
Hare Krishna, HG Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Oh, please forgive me. Somebody's going on. Please forgive me.
No, Mataji, nobody. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Gopinath ki jai. Very nice question, Parima Mataji. That answer is for me. Mataji, with your permission, can I sing Govinda Damodara?
Oh, yes, please, Mataji. Maybe just 2 verses, because it's already 12:09.
I take only 50 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead.
I learned from my papa in my childhood.
Go ahead.
Kararavinde japadarvindam mukharavinde विनिवेशयन्तं वटस्य पत्रस्य पुटे शयानं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि जिह्वे पिबस्वा मृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति. This is Mataji 32 stanza and the other one is also 32 stanza. We will sure sing one time. Thank you, Mataji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Your class is inspiring us. HG Prithividasini, HG Kirtida Sundari Mataji. All Bhakti Sangha teacher Mataji. We open Shri Chaitanya Charanamrut because of all of you Mataji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev की जय, गोपीनाथ की जय. माताजी हम इंडिया में तो वीक में 3 बार जा सकते थे मंदिर, पर यहाँ पे तो 45 मिनट्स मंदिर दूर है तो नहीं जा पाते. तो आप सबके एसोसिएशन से ऐसे लगता है कि हम रोज श्री राधा गोपी में बैठ में के श्री भागवतम सुनते हैं और श्री चैतन्य चरणामृत सुनते हैं. थैंक यू माता जी. कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है HG गौरंग प्रभु, HG गौर गोपाल प्रभु जी और आप सब जो हमें श्री चैतन्य चरणामृत में डुबकी लगाते हैं. इसमें कोई
बहुत डिफरेंस है, बहुत डिफरेंस है. There is a huge difference in the purity level. What they say is that whatever they have digested, whatever they have people like me, when they speak, it's just lip service, Mataji. It's merely a lip service.
नहीं माताजी, पर हमारे लिए तो आप सब लोग ही ब्रह्मचारी है माताजी. हाँ, वो समझ सकते हैं माताजी कि ब्रह्मचारी का लेवल बहुत हाई है, बहुत हाई. 2 दिन पहले HG राधा गोपीनाथ प्रभु जी आए थे और दूसरे प्रभु जी सीनियर ब्रह्मचारी आए थे माताजी. वो लोग का मतलब ब्लेसिंग मिलना और उनकी वाणी माता मैं समझ सकती हूँ माता जी, पर हमारे लिए तो आप ही सब ब्रह्मचारी है माता जी. श्रील प्रभुपाद, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, गोपीनाथ की जय. थैंक यू माता जी. कोटि कोटि धन्यवाद. सो मच पोटेंसी डे बाय डे माता जी. आपके क्लास में पोटेंसी और बढ़ती जा रही है.
No, Mataji, you are simply trying to compare a crow to a garud. But that's all your sincerity. If you feel something good, it's all because of Guru Maharaj. Okay, so thank you all so much. We'll stop here.
Thank you, Mataji.
Take over. Yeah.
Full class, very grateful to you and nice question. Hare Krishna, Mataji, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Like to offer my obeisances to you and all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu bhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnavrind ki jai. Grace Kirtida Sundari
Mataji ki jai. Thank you Mataji. Koti koti dandavat pranam.
Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam.